Good morning. It is wonderful to see your faces and hear your voices and see you interacting and enjoying each other's company, but it is straight up 10 o'clock. So what if we get started and ask the Madam Secretary to please call the roll.
Representative All.
Here.
Representative Baker. Here. Representative Dotson. Present. Representative Pfister.
Present.
Representative Frazier Gordon. Representative Fugit.
Here.
Representative Grossberg. Representative Lawrence.
Present. Representative
Massaroni.
Present.
Representative Pollock. Representative Reed.
Here.
Representative Roberts.
Here.
Representative Tackett Lafferty. Present. Representative Timoney.
Here.
Representative Truitt.
Here.
Representative Wesley.
Here.
Representative White.
Here.
Representative Wilson.
Here.
Representative McPherson.
Here.
Chairwoman King.
Present. We have a quorum? Very good, very good. In addition to having a quorum, we also have several new members to our committee. So before we officially get started, we will ask each of them to give a brief introduction to the committee and folks watching at home, and also maybe just a quick how come you're interested in tourism or why it's important to your district. And we'll start with our new Vice Chair, Sean McPherson.
Thank you, Chairwoman. My name's Sean McPherson. I represent the 22nd District, which is Allen, Simpson, and a southern portion of Warren County. And I'm just happy to be here. My background, I'm a real estate appraiser by trade. Also, my family and I own a couple of assisted livings. There in Allen County, we have Barren River State Park there. And we have just a lot of park services around us there. We've got Mammoth Cave pretty close to us. In my former life, I used to be a staff appraiser for the Highway Department and did a lot of work all over the state around the park system. So I'm very familiar with that. Want to support it in any way I can, and just tickled to death to be here as the Vice Chair. Thank you.
Thank you. As you can see, he's going to be a tremendous asset to this committee, and he's hit the ground running and is an excellent teammate. Thank you so much, Vice Chair. Representative All, and if you have any special guests, please recognize them as well.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Chad All, 79th District, Lexington, Kentucky. I represent a good central part of the city of Lexington, including UK and the neighborhoods just south of the university. I'm excited to be on this committee to help Visit Lex and other organizations to bring more tourism to Lexington and central Kentucky. In a previous life as well, I had the opportunity to work in a previous governor's administration and visit most of, if not all, the state parks throughout Kentucky. So I'm excited to support our state parks system and support tourism throughout all of the Commonwealth. I do want to recognize a special guest. Allie Walters is in the audience today. Allie is both a constituent and a student at the University of Kentucky. She is double majoring in poli-sci and Spanish, so she's smart as a whip, and she plans to go to law school, so everybody watch out.
Thank you, Representative, and welcome to the committee meeting today. Representative Ryan Dotson.
Thank you, Madam Chair. My name is Ryan Dotson. I'm state rep of the 73rd District, which is all of Clark County and the southeast portion of Fayette County. Along with small business, I think this committee on economic development is the backbone with tourism to really grow our Commonwealth and to really bring new adventures and new opportunities to this Commonwealth. And I'm so glad to be a part of it. This is my fourth committee, and I really was looking forward to it, serving along with Representative King. She does such a wonderful job, and I believe us working collectively together that we can make a huge impact in Kentucky. Thank you.
Thank you very much for those kind words, and welcome to the committee. Appreciate you. Representative Daniel Grossberg, if he's not able to be with us this morning, we'll introduce him next time. Representative Candy Massaroni.
Hello, I'm Candy Massaroni. I am from the 50th District, which is Nelson County and Bardstown. Bardstown is a very seeked-after tourist area, so I am excited to be on this committee and help represent Bardstown. Thank you.
Thank you, lady from Nelson. Representative Richard White. Please introduce yourself, sir.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. I'm Richard White. I'm represent the 99th District, which is Round County, Morgan, and Elliott County. In my district, we have Cave Run Lake, which is a popular tourist attraction. We have the Daniel Boone National Forest, a lot of hiking trails. It's a trail town, and Moorhead is. A lot of people come up and spend their vacation there in our area, and I'm happy to be on this committee and hope to make an impact. Thank you.
You will definitely make an impact, and we welcome you. Representative Nick Wilson.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. I'm from Whitley County, District 82, and parts of Laurel. We have the Cumberland Falls, which is a rather large state park, and there's plenty of hiking trails there, and we have Laurel Lake, and our state is just so diverse and beautiful, and so many areas of our state have so much to offer for tourism. Eastern Kentucky, southeastern Kentucky, I think with the Appalachian Mountains is a big part of that. I live right on the Tennessee border, so I definitely want to help those folks that might be driving down from Ohio, Michigan. I want to help to make sure they stop in one of our areas on their way down there. So that's my hope for this committee, and I'm honored to be a part of it. Thank you.
And I know we will, with your help, we will encourage them to stop and spend some money in Whitley County. So thank you for being on board. This committee would not be the excellent committee that it is without our tremendous staff. We have Janine Coy, our committee staff administrator, Sasha Allen, who serves as committee assistant, Audrey Ernstberger, committee analyst, Crystal Thompson, committee analyst, and the chair and vice chair also have cabinet liaison Brad Montel and our policy analyst Rachel Volk. So thank you all for helping us to get data together, and we appreciate everything that you do so very much. As far as introductions, I want to introduce my special guest today. We have Teen Leadership Mercer County and Adult Leadership Mercer County. This is a project of the Mercer County Chamber of Commerce. If they will stand for just a brief moment, we've got a good full day planned, and thank you for welcoming my special guest to this committee, and I know they're going to have a great day. So thank you all for making the trip down. If you would be so kind to make sure that your phone is silenced. If you would like to speak on any presentation or have a question about a bill at future committees, if you will please use the sign-in sheet by the door. As is LRC and committee policy, we don't allow signs or anything like that. And please signal to one of our tremendous staff if you would like to have a question put in the queue. And we have called the roll. We do have a quorum, so if our special guest will please come to the table. We have been looking forward to our Kentucky State Parks presentation of their vision for the future. Since we do take in a lot of information regarding taxpayer dollars and appropriations and data that we will be using going forward in this committee and the full General Assembly, it is the chair's prerogative to issue a swearing in at every meeting. And so please be so kind to raise your right hand and swear or affirm that you will tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. I do. Thank you. Thank you. Please proceed. All of the monitors will have your PowerPoint slides, and they will also be available on the LRC website under meeting materials. Thank you all so much for being here today.
Thank you, Chair King. And we're going to start. First, I want to thank you all for having us here to speak with you all today. You've been a great committee to Kentucky State Parks, and we appreciate all your efforts, interest, questions, and we look forward to moving forward in the future and take big steps. So with that, I want to introduce and for our opening and introductions, our new Secretary of Tourism, Secretary CASEBIER, Lindy CASEBIER, who is a familiar face over here in the General Assembly. So with that said, Secretary.
Thank you, Russ. So I'm Lindy CASEBIER, the new secretary as of just like today. Actually, it's official tomorrow, but we're very pleased to be over here. For 18 years, I sat where you all sit now. I was in the House for 6 and the Senate for 12, and wouldn't trade that experience for anything. And served then in the executive branch, 2 years in the Fletcher administration and 8 in the Governor Beshear's administration in the Tourism, Arts, and Heritage Cabinet. And I can assure you that, we're a little biased over there, but we think it's the best cabinet in state government because it actually is what showcases everything that's so wonderful about Kentucky and what draws people into the state, what draws them here and keeps them here, and things that some of you all have said in your introductions this morning of the areas that you represent and how important that is to you. So it's important to every Kentuckian, and we take that very seriously all day, every day, because we're stewards of the state parks, and I think that you'll see that in this presentation. They're not just a popular tourist attraction, but they've been instrumental in the state's emergency response efforts. Under the direction of Governor Beshear, the array of services provided by state parks during COVID created an opportunity for us to provide the necessary resources that positioned the Commonwealth for fighting the virus. And throughout the pandemic, 4 Kentucky state parks provided temporary housing for first responders, frontline healthcare workers, low acuity patients, utilizing over 2,000 room nights as a low acuity shelter. Some of our parks also served as vaccination sites. The state parks, I got my pages out of order, so that was page 2. So you can tell I'm new on the job, okay? So bear with me. So what I should have said at the beginning was as state parks reach our 100-year anniversary next year, we're looking for that decade and beyond. It's critical to update the park's infrastructure and our equipment. Every resort park and many rec parks across the state operate much like small towns in Kentucky. They have many of the same utility systems and maintenance requirements. Kentucky state parks are a key driver to our $11.2 billion tourism industry, serving as a mechanism not just for bringing visitors to the Commonwealth, but for driving revenue to both rural and urban communities. They complement approximately 55 counties and multiple cities throughout Kentucky, providing jobs and offering unique opportunities for guests. And so not just during COVID, but also during our large-scale natural disasters with the tornadoes and the flooding in eastern Kentucky, the state's emergency response effort, mobilized by Governor Beshear, totaled 11 state parks to serve as community resources, providing emergency shelters and food services for displaced families and responders. Some of those families are still in our parks. Some are at Jenny Wiley and some are at Carr Creek. In western Kentucky, our state parks provided temporary housing to more than 800 individuals and 250 first responders. Over 360 individuals impacted by the flooding in eastern Kentucky have been temporarily housed at Kentucky state parks. Our employees continue to work with local, state, and emergency management to actively transition those folks into travel trailers and into long-term housing solutions. As the commissioner and the deputy commissioner begin their remarks, you'll see behind us part of our team. We're all wearing the uniform of some sort with the green and today because that's the park's color, but we're so proud, and I say, even though this is my first official day, I've been in the office since January 23rd, and I've learned very quickly just the dedication and how there is such buy-in on the part of all the folks. And this is just a sampling, but the folks that are behind us of their dedication to the Kentucky State Parks and their desire to see them succeed and grow, and the pride that they and we all have in our park system, and we want to maintain that for the next 100 years. So I'll turn it over to our commissioners.
Thank you, Secretary. I want to introduce a friendly face to this committee and to Kentucky State Parks. Those of you that are new, I want to make sure that I introduce him properly. Ron Vanover is our Deputy Commissioner of Kentucky State Parks. He's a lifelong team member of Kentucky State Parks. He started his career with the Commonwealth and State Parks in the late 80s and has been park manager, has been state naturalist, has been a director of state parks, and is now deputy commissioner. We're proud of Ron, what he's done. You should be proud. He's brings a great wealth of knowledge to Kentucky State Parks and our path forward. So with that said, I'll turn it over to Mr. Vanover, and he will take off and start our presentation. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Commissioner. We have a great team, Kentucky State Parks. Behind us today, if you counted our time, we have over 150 years of experience. I have to mention Representative Wilson. I grew up at Cumberland Falls, great area. The highlight of my son's career at the University of the Cumberlands a couple of weeks ago was meeting Representative Wilson in one of the weight rooms. So I had to tell that story before I began. You know, when we look back at our Kentucky State Parks, next year we do celebrate our 100th anniversary as the Secretary. And we celebrate that simultaneously, Chairwoman King, with your 250th anniversary at Old Fort Herod with Kentucky Starts Here. To give just a brief history as it leads into our mission, Dr. Willard Gilson was hired by the legislature in 1922-23 to go out and find parks or lands that were worthy of state custodianship. What a job, especially from someone from New York. But he loved Kentucky, so he traversed east, west, north, south, everywhere in between. And he came back with an extensive list of what began our parks in this 1924 book. And on the Capitol steps of the old Capitol, on July 1st, 1924, he delivered his address, and he delivered it very proudly. And I've taken just a few excerpts of that. Mere words can never adequately describe the many points of natural beauty in Kentucky. The best of photographs, while better than prose, falls far short of doing justice to the inimitable sculpturing of wind and wave and frost. Nothing, even the inspired hand of genius spotting in the rainbow colors of the landscape, approaches the realistic. Here are the natural parks awaiting state custodianship. Their acquisition and preservation by the Commonwealth constitute a service in which we may all unite with pride and enthusiasm, assured in advance of an appreciative posterity. Those first parks: Pine Mountain, Natural Bridge, Chairwoman King, Old Fort Herod. And the last one was the Blue and Gray, which is no longer together, but it was located in Elkton, Kentucky. So Kentucky State Parks is and has been committed to providing a sustainable system of parks that delivers quality programs, amenities, and services. Our ultimate goal is to create memorable experiences and a sense of place, but preserve our parks' historic and natural integrity and our traditions, just like this book of information, for existing and future generations. Under the leadership of the Tourism, Arts, and Heritage Cabinet, our parks work to promote Kentucky as an inclusive travel experience that welcomes visitors of diverse backgrounds and interest.
Thank you, Commissioner Vanover, and I'll lead us into parks operations. again, I want to reiterate what the Secretary and Commissioner Vanover have stated about our team behind us and the work that they do, straight from the heart, all for the right reasons, for the Commonwealth, for your communities, to bring tourism to Kentucky, to your communities, and help us prosper and give us opportunities for the future. So I want to thank our team, their efforts. They've served, as Commissioner Vanover said, over 150 years of experience and several administrations here in Frankfort. So they're true servants, and we appreciate everything they do. This is what Kentucky State Parks operations is all about. Take all this in. 44 state parks, including 17 resort parks, 6 covered bridges, 300 miles of trails, 13 golf courses, 30 campgrounds, 15 marinas, 34 pools and beaches, approximately 2,500 campsites, 2 scenic trails, and almost 50,000 acres. I've been to every state park across the state. I have not been down every trail of that 300-mile trail, so that might be something that that we might try. Our vision for Kentucky State Parks is to build public and private partnerships to ensure that state parks bring both recreational and economic value to the communities throughout the Commonwealth. Pursue funding opportunities that will allow Kentucky State Parks to continue to address and continuous maintenance needs at each state park. Our park staff works to protect and conserve Kentucky's natural resources and to be responsible stewards of the nation's finest state park system, while promoting these opportunities to tourists, sportsmen, and sportswomen. We will continue to be a leader in Kentucky's tourism industry and an economic driver for tourism across the Commonwealth and within your communities. We will expand our travel market, becoming a desired destination for out-of-state travelers, groups, and other visitors. Exceed guest expectations by creating memorable experiences that complement the incredible natural, cultural, and historic attractions found in our state parks. And we will continue to improve facility enhancement initiatives. Under our proposed plan that we presented the A&R committee for the $150 million that parks have proposed to receive from the General Assembly, we will address deferred maintenance issues and bring operations back to pre-COVID standards. We will improve accommodations and facilities to meet guest expectations and improve recreational amenities. And we will improve recreational amenities. With that, I'll turn it back over to Commissioner Vanover as he wants to enlighten us on campgrounds.
I hope some of us have camped at some of our campgrounds in our state park system.
Would you be so kind to pull that microphone just a little closer?
Is it better?
That's better.
I'm
Thank
sorry.
you.
I said I hope that many of you have camped at some of our campground facilities. Camping is the most profitable revenue generator in the Kentucky State Park system. And the lack of upgraded amenities is holding our state parks back on rates and occupancy that could be achieved. We need to keep up with our neighboring states. Our focus for campground amenities is as follows. We want to upgrade our electric, our sewer, and our water on approximately 750 campsites. Increase electrical amperage to 50 at all campgrounds. Some of you know what I'm talking about. A lot of our campgrounds only have 30 amps. I'm even hearing now of campgrounds, trailers that have 70 amp. Think about that. We want to renovate our bathhouses to be more energy efficient. Add sewer connections where feasible. Add frost-proof hydrants, which we have some. We want to add more. And we want to grade and level our campsites. What happens in the 60s and 70s is different now. They're larger, slide outs, and the list goes on and on. And we want to add camper cabins in various campgrounds, similar to what we have at Dale Hollow, if you've been there. Technology, infrastructure, maintenance. Please note that we've used $4.2 million in the 2019 Refreshing the Finest. The focus of that funding has been to provide high-speed internet and guest Wi-Fi at the lodges. Currently, 6 lodges have been outfitted with new guest wireless equipment. Projects to provide new wireless equipment at 3 lodges and 3 campgrounds are currently in progress. Campground connectivity or guest Wi-Fi we estimate at $6 million. The Kentucky Department of Parks has been working with many internet service providers for several years to provide the high-speed internet to our systems. 15 of the 17 resort parks have high-speed internet. All resort parks except Blue Licks and Buckhorn have the high-speed internet service. However, currently only 7 of the 30 campgrounds have broadband. 6 campgrounds are in the process of implementing new broadband services. Potential service providers have been identified for the remaining 17 campgrounds. In our 5-year technology plan, all lodges and cottages on campgrounds will have high-speed internet established at the properties. Broadband service is only half of the solution to provide internet connectivity to our guests. Once high-speed internet is established at the park, new campus cabling, as we call it, and equipment are required to support the guest Wi-Fi connectivity. In addition to providing high-speed internet at all lodge, campgrounds, the 5-year plan will provide for new Wi-Fi infrastructure and equipment at all of our lodges and our campground sites.
Park facilities. As mentioned, the 4 original parks date back to 1924. Over the nearly 100 years since our inception, the number of buildings, site improvements, and mechanical, electrical, plumbing systems have been added to our inventory. Today, the number of buildings in Kentucky State Park systems totals 1,517, which includes recreational buildings, public lodging, maintenance, mechanical spaces, service and support locations, and employee residences. Parks will continue to address the renovation needs to our lodge rooms and cottages annually. That would also include renovating 38% of the lodge rooms and 33% of the cottages in our state resort park system. As you can see, at a lot of our parks, they're like little cities. We provide water, sewer, the electric grid. It's like operating a little city. So we're looking forward to that opportunity to upgrade. 60 years ago, 6 of the 17 state park lodges were built. And I'll note those 6. Kentucky Dam Village, Carter Caves, Lake Cumberland, Jenny Wiley, General Butler, and Rough River. 60 years ago. Carry on, Ron.
Thank you, Commissioner. As we look at our park facilities, being a park interpreter and a recreational specialist for many years of my early career in the 80s and 90s, it's the cornerstone. It's the cornerstone to the mission and service of Kentucky State Parks is providing these recreational and interpretational opportunities. Stretching across the Commonwealth, the state park system provides access to some of our most treasured locations and encourages active participation of our guests. To provide the best possible customer service, it's imperative that our recreational amenities be kept in good condition. This requires not only a financial commitment, but also a serious commitment of staff time and resources. Efforts to improve our recreational amenities include replace and convert 5 pools to a splash pad, renovate and update 10 of our swimming pools, resurface our recreational courts, add pickleball courts. Who would have thought pickleball would be so popular today? It's one of the fastest outdoor recreational sports that we have. And upgrade our outdated playgrounds.
Buildings and ground improvements. The Kentucky Department of Parks operates and maintains a wide variety of parks, from historic sites, recreational parks, to resort parks across the Commonwealth of Kentucky. The first step to preserving our beloved lodges and other buildings, as well as improving the customer service experience, is to invest. Invest in the capital projects that will extend the useful and economic lives of our parks. The Kentucky Department of Parks plans to utilize funding to address our aging structures by updating the following: mechanical, electrical, and plumbing needs, foundation repair, exterior improvements, fire suppression systems, elevators, ADA improvements, and I feel like that we need to be a lead state in ADA for our parks.
Absolutely.
ADA access, doors, windows, and marina electrical. Utility improvements. Parks is committed to improving our utilities. We will continue to focus on improving the following: upgrade to wastewater treatment plants under design, replace, rebuild pumps in lift stations, clear right-of-ways for overhead utility lines, upgrade power lines into the parks. Commissioner Vanover.
New to our agenda is our guest experiences and customer service with a partnership with what we call Medallia. It's our 5-year plan to improve guest experiences with Medallia. It's a guest experience program that brings all of our data together for one unified voice of the customer. This will add services, enhance digital offerings, and support customer engagement. The Medallia program on your screen will allow us to have a system that makes it easier to track all of our customers' experiences and feedback across all channels and answer within minutes. A system that, instead of generating large reports, it offers real-time analytics tailored to every person in our organization. It's a system that makes sure that everyone knows exactly what they need to do to improve the customer service initiative. Customer data would not be fragmented across our system. The system makes it easy for us to monitor our customers' experience across the entire customer journey, from the minute they check in to the minute they make it home. It brings this multiple data together as a unified view. Solicited feedback, online reviews, chat logs, clickstream data, and operational measures would all come together. Our operational decisions would be data-driven from the minute the customer arrives. In closing, on behalf of our cabinet, on behalf of state parks, with the commitment, not only by us, but by you, of our state parks mission statement. It is evident that the need for a sustainable system is relevant. Over the years, through the identification and evaluations of buildings and systems, it is obvious the physical deterioration is showing from age. We, the Kentucky State Parks, appreciates the opportunity to submit this proposal for the committee's perusal. A continued, renewed monetary commitment by the Commonwealth will build positive outcomes that ultimately affect guest services and communities. Please note that all funding is essential for the betterment of our state parks. I hope this message here hits home. What may begin as a fun weekend with a family often leads to a lifetime of curiosity and a generational coming back to those state parks. It's an appreciation for our natural world. These things are truly needed as a commitment to make our Kentucky State Parks truly the nation's finest. By creating lasting experiences and memories for our guests, the Kentucky State Parks strive to transform visitors into stewards. Engaging and using many areas of funding opportunities will create this sustainable operation moving forward. So building an appreciation for our Kentucky State Parks and all they have to offer will ensure not only the longevity, but also their conservation. I'm reminded of Jesse Stewart when he once said, "If these United States can be called a body, then Kentucky can be called its heart." Mister?
With that said, we want to open it up to questions, discussion. Again, Chair King, thank you so much for having us here, and thank you all for your friendship and friendship to Kentucky State Parks.
Very good. We do have a few questions in the queue. I'll start with a brief comment, then we'll open it up. So if you've got a question you would like to ask, please let someone know. So will the projects mentioned today just help us play catch up, or are they looking into long range vision?
A lot of them, most of them are catch up. Oh, I'm sorry. Most of them are catch up, Chair King and members of the committee here. But we have they are in place with the $150 million that you all wanted us to propose how we spend that money to get our parks back, and how we move forward. Most of all, we have to set ourselves up for success. As you know, we've struggled over the years in Kentucky State Parks and in a lot of areas of state government here in the Commonwealth since the recession. It's been a struggle to come out of that hole. We've had to make a lot of tough decisions over the years, and I'm just happy to see us coming out of it in good light and have this as an opportunity to, yes, move Kentucky State Parks forward and secure our assets and what we have. So this is a plan to move forward, but also a plan to secure our assets, and more to come on that.
Okay, we're listening. We love those more to come as soon as possible would be excellent. I will look to Vice Chair McPherson first to see if he has any comments or questions, and then we'll get to the queue.
Thank you, Chairwoman. Yes, I appreciate the report you all have given to us today. You know, as a real estate appraiser that I said kind of looks at projects all the time, I was stepping out of a house about 2 years ago, and this gentleman says, "I'm selling my my camper. No longer needed. I've got my house finished. And myself with 3 grandkids now that have never really camped except in a tent on the backside of the farm maybe, looked at that and said, let me go get my wife. And so we have purchased a camper and now camp around, and we love it. We really do. So I'm taking more part of that for sure. In your report, we're talking about, and I think I've seen where parks in the state of Kentucky generate about 44% of their own revenue and look to the state to supply about 56%. We're going to invest $150 million. Your report is really good about the broad base of what you're going to do. I guess I look at rate of return. What do we think, kind of to the chairwoman? You know, I know we're catching up. Do we have any long-term scores? Do you score these parks? Do you score the buildings, the number of buildings? Do you score them and say this is the one in the most need? This is where we could put our money? You know, and I realize that we want to generate money for our parks, but our parks are also very much of a service to our community. Mm-hmm. So there's a balance there. But anytime we're going to invest $150 million, I personally would like to see more of a detailed breakdown. Where I'm going to invest it, which buildings, what the score of that building is versus the score of another park. Is one of them in poorer condition than the other, and this is where we need to put it? So I appreciate your efforts here. I'd like to see a little more breakdown myself, so I appreciate that. And if you have any comment to that, I'd like to hear it.
Absolutely, and thank you for your comments and your questions, and that is to come, the detailed breakdown, and that's been presented to our A&R committees, joint committees, which will be coming in front of next week. So that detailed breakdown will be presented then. All righty. 22nd. We've got it on our calendars. So.
And you can send that report to me as well and update me on that. Representative Lawrence.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'd like to first say thanks for my Cynthiana Mayor coming up today to join us. Russ, I want to thank you guys for coming up today. You guys are, Commissioner, you have been an absolute open resource to me anytime that I've reached out. I want to thank you for coming up and visiting the Blue Lick State Park, which is part of my district. It's a big part of our community there, especially for Robertson County and the surrounding areas. The state park means a lot to that area. The campground is starting to boom again. Things are happening there. Our community's really started to get behind that. In fact, we were so worried about our park at one time, there is actually a group now of Friends of Blue Licks, which has grown exponentially in the last few years because people were going out there and volunteering to make sure that things were getting done. So mainly I just want to say thank you for taking your time last year when you come up to visit and, you know, boots on the ground. That means something. You know, anybody can send an email, but you came there, you walked around with myself and the judge executive at the time and visited the park, and I just want to say publicly thank you for doing that. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative.
Thank you. Just a quick reminder, we need to vacate the room by 11 for the next committee meeting to be prepared. So if we can keep our comments and questions concise, that would be excellent. Representative All.
I'll be quick, Madam Chairman, I promise. One, congratulations on your centennial for 100 years old. I think you look great. Number two, the medallion program, is that like a rewards program, like a Marriott rewards, or do you all have a rewards program in place already?
It is not an actual rewards program from what I understand. I'll let Commissioner Vanover explain it, but the simplest way I can put the medallion program in place is it is an opportunity to have a customer service representative 24/7 at each and every park.
Okay. So
and I'll let Representative Vanover take over from that. But it's awesome. Our director Kevin Main brought that to us. I want to thank him for bringing that to us, that idea. And he's here with us, our team. You have any comments?
I think you've summed that up quite well. We do have a director of marketing here too. It does come up occasionally about a rewards program, but at present we do not have one. But we do have a lot of different benefits in terms of discounting that happen with our Commonwealth citizens. And if you have extra questions about Medallia with our assistant director here, Kevin Main, maybe after this meeting, as Representative King has said, we can get with him. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you. Representative Roberts.
Thank you, Chairwoman. First of all, I'm sure I speak on behalf of the entire committee when I say thank you all so much for everything that you did for our citizens during the natural disasters of the last 2 years. Our parks are literally havens for us all to go enjoy nature and recreation, but you were actual havens for people who did not have homes and needed you. Thank you for stepping up to that. And to that end, I'd like to ask you if you had any additional uncovered costs due to your caretaking of our citizens during those times.
We do, and we're compiling those at this time. There's, a lot that has gone into caring for the needs of the displaced families, a whole lot, a lot more than any of us even in this room could even imagine. Only the people that the park managers and the staff that truly gave it up to serve the needs of these displaced families. They put it in overdrive and overtime and just gave it 110%. We want to, thank them for all their efforts. But Ron, you may want to make a few comments on that.
Representative, we keep extensive records, and we turn that in for FEMA reimbursement. So, and that's been a good reimbursement back to the Commonwealth.
Yes, please.
Thank you for that. And just one other thing. As we are all considering, the financial needs of the park and the return on investment, I think it bears reminding to all of us that our parks are one of our biggest tourism drivers in the state, and that makes them absolutely not only economic development parks for us, but also workforce development tool for us, because nothing gets people to move to the state of Kentucky like visiting us for tourism. So thank you for all you do, and I hope that we continue to support you to the needs that will help us grow the Commonwealth. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Representative Tackett Lafferty.
Thank you. I'll try to keep it brief. I know we only have a few more minutes, but at first I wanted to say welcome, Secretary. Very glad to have you here. The Commissioner's office, we see him time and time again, not only in Frankfort, but also at home in our state parks. Our park, my park in my district, Jenny Wiley State Resort Park, it did some beautiful things during our time of need in eastern Kentucky. It housed folks who had lost their home, who'd been displaced by the flooding, and we just want to say thank you. We saw the Commissioner's office there time and time again, boots on the ground, as it's been said. And I also just want to talk about a few of the things that Representative McPherson talked about. I want to say thank you not only for what you've done in the past, but for instance, I know we've been really trying to, on your board of all things that parks provide, I noticed there was no archery range. So, of course, we do have the unused golf course at Jenny Wiley State Park, and I know you parks, along with Fish and Wildlife, have been working very hard to see if it's a possibility of bringing a state-of-art archery range to our beautiful park. From my understanding, it would be one of the only outdoor facilities where schools could host competitions. You talk about bringing heads to beds at our parks, and not only for our park system, but also for our community in eastern Kentucky. And I just want to say thank you, because I know we've sent a lot of emails, we've had a lot of conversations, and we've had a few meetings as well. So I want to thank you not only for everything the parks have done in the past, but how you're looking to help sustain the future. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and I want to address that as a question, and then back up and answer Representative McPherson's question, which they kind of coincide. When we put our plan together for the $150 million, it was not me, it was not Ron and I, Commissioner Vanover and I, it was our entire team that sat down at a table for 7 months and worked it. We met twice a week, sometimes 3 times a week, and it encompasses the vision of what people on the ground that have worked in parks for many, 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 many years, and they know the needs of our parks. We built that 150 proposal based on infrastructure. We looked at revenue generators, and we looked at return on investment. So it's a good plan, a great plan. We're very excited about it, and I know each and every one of you all here on this committee will be very excited about it and pleased. So thank you very much.
Well, as the mother of a child in high school, middle school, and in kindergarten, I know exactly how many people show how popular archery is getting, how many people go to these meets. And, and currently in Eastern Kentucky, we're sending our kids to Lexington and Louisville to compete in these in these competitions. So I think it's a great idea. I think it shows real vision, and I want to thank you all for all your hard work. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative.
Thank you. And again, we look forward to getting that detailed report next week. Representative Dotson, would you like to stay in the queue?
Well, real quick, on the $150 million ask, what is projected return on investment? I know there's a lot of infrastructure needs, there's things. Do you all have a projected return on investment, just so we can pass on to our constituents?
We do, broken down in it, we do. And as I said, we'll be reporting on that next week. And each and every one of you all will have a copy of that.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Yes, sir.
You are welcome. Thank you very much. Is anyone else? That's all I see in the queue of questions. Representative Pfister, please.
Just one quick statement. The archery that Representative Lafferty was talking about, it's a nationwide thing that has really taken off, and I just wanted to let people that didn't know that started right here in Kentucky with the Department of Fish and Wildlife. So it's kind of come full circle. So.
Yeah, it's a great program.
That's awesome. Thank you, Representative.
Thank you for that input. If we can go through just 3 or 4 of my lightning round, I will do my best to get to Representative Lockett. So just hitting like game show style lightning round here. We have labor shortages in all of labor sectors, in all of our industries and all categories. Are you all experiencing that in your sector?
And repeat that for me one time.
Labor shortages.
Labor shortage. Oh my gosh, yes, it's been a struggle. It's been a real battle for us. But I we feel like it's getting better.
Yes,
Very good.
It is subsiding and getting better.
Very good. Broadband. What is the time frame on getting your proposal in place? I mean, we're not going to hold you to it necessarily on the broadband expansion, but what are you seeing? And lightning round answer there.
Ron.
What we had proposed today, and it'll be more detailed in our report next week, is our 5-year plan on what we have left. When I mentioned only 7 of the 30 campgrounds, we'll be working on those. The 2 other resorts. So we've moved a long ways, Representative King, but we still have more to do.
Very good.
And that is a moving target. It's an ongoing moving target as years pass. So
rural areas.
Yes.
The impact on local governments and local areas brought to mind. Do you have good interaction and communication with local governments? Are they participating in your vision? And are you getting good participation from the locals?
Well, one thing that we did along with House Bill 1 and our proposal for the $150 million, we sent a letter out. As some of you may know, we sent a letter out to 65 mayors and judges that are close to proximity or are actually the park is in their community to see about interest in partnerships for any projects that they have ideas for or projects that we are working on ourselves. So, and we have been contacted by several and have been to meet several mayors and judges. So,
thank you.
That's an ongoing process there.
Looks very good.
Very good. I'm circling back to your bullet point about public-private partnerships. Can you expand on that a little bit? Are we getting interest? Where do we stand on that? And then I'll have a follow-up
I
question.
can, and Commissioner Vanover, if you want to add in, first I want to say public-private partnerships have been around a long time, and we have sent out many RFPs for projects within state parks. We will have all those. They're in our plan, and they will all be submitted next Wednesday, next week. So all of that is covered, and you know, we've got one or two out right now. So
We do. We have one out especially. But let me say that in the proposal, Chairwoman King, it mentioned that we work with our county governments. And we're very excited because we've turned that button up. And we recently got $700,000 to make an ADA ramp at Paintsville Lake State Park, which Representative Lafferty's aware. That's almost completed. That's a partnership that we have with the county government. And it's worked very well.
Very good. Will there be information included in next week's proposal regarding the Burnside project? I've had a lot of interesting questions from that
Dream
area.
Big, Burnside.
Yes.
That's not a part of the 150 million. It is, you know, we will note that we have sent an RFP out on Burnside Island State Park. So.
And then kind of segueing with the locals, are they included in those conversations and decisions?
They have been, and now that the RFP's out, it's subsided and it's out there. So, you know,
March 27th.
It's, you know, communications will start, I guess, when we get proposals.
And that presentation will be the 22nd. So
22nd for the
So
150 million, and that will be noted that we sent that RFP out. And I know there has been a lot of interest in that. And, you know, also as a representative, as a commissioner, staff here at Kentucky State Parks, we have to be careful how RFPs are handled too. So
yes,
from a communication standpoint, there's guidelines that have to be, you know, gone by to protect everyone's interest.
Well, thank you all again for your presentation. It's a lot of data and information for committee members to digest and stay on top of. And I'm thankful that Vice Chair McPherson also serves on A&R, so you'll be part of that conversation next Wednesday. And you can keep these questions in mind and then follow up with me and maybe this committee the next time that we meet. Is there anything else for the good of the group?